Socrates never wrote a word. Not a book, not a treatise, not a line in any scroll. The only thing he left behind was a habit, a relentless, patient way of asking questions until the surface of certainty cracks and reveals something truer to live by. He did not claim to know everything. He claimed to know one essential thing. Wisdom begins when you admit you might be wrong. The rest is a long, careful interrogation of what we call knowledge, confidence, and virtue. In this video, we're explaining that idea simply, so it can transform your philosophy without requiring you to become a philosopher's saint. The Socratic method is not a weapon of cleverness. It's a craftsman's tool for shaping character. Imagine you're a sculptor. Your beliefs are the block of stone. The questions you ask are the chisel, the plan, the patience. The result, a complete statue on day one. It's a form that keeps getting revealed as you work. The core move is enchantingly small and devastatingly practical. Ask why, then ask why again and again, until the ground of the claim trembles and you're forced to choose between pretending and clarifying. If I say democracy is just and good, Socrates presses, what counts as justice here? Is it justice for the majority, or for the vulnerable, or for a principle that transcends both? Can a system be just if it requires citizens to be ignorant, or to consent without understanding the stakes? This contrarian noise. It's a life-preserving discipline. The first transformation is humility. Not weak surrender, but sturdy self-respect rooted in ongoing scrutiny. The moment you admit that a belief might be wrong, you unlock the possibility of progress. The mind becomes a workshop rather than a shrine. The second transformation is clarity. When questions are honest, answers become lighter, more precise, and easier to live with. You begin to see the difference between having a strong opinion and having a good reason. The mind stops shouting and starts listening to the texture of the argument, to the pressure points of the case, to the consequences that flow from a decision. But let us stay concrete. The Socratic method isn't a debate drill designed to win. It's a diagnostic tool for life. If you want to test whether your beliefs actually fit the world, you need 4 habits. Curiosity before closure, evidence before conviction. Let us translate these into daily practice. First habit, curiosity before closure. Before you lock your stance on a topic, pause and map the terrain. What do you know? What don't you know? What would count as good evidence? And whose evidence matters? You'll notice that most arguments hinge on a small assumption that never gets examined. Socrates would widen the frame until that assumption reveals its vulnerability. Second habit, evidence before conviction. Knowledge is not a feeling. It's a braid of reason, experience, and observation. When a claim feels urgent, ask, what would have to be true for this claim to be false? If you can't imagine a counterexample that breaks the claim, you may have found a stubborn belief. But if you can imagine it, you've earned a chance to refine. Third habit, charity toward opponents. Socrates didn't bully his interlocutors into agreement. He treated them as constraints that sharpen the truth. When you argue with someone, you surface the best possible version of their position, then test it. If you can defeat your opponent's strongest case, you've learned more about them and about you. Fourth habit, revision is growth. Not every doubt ends in surrender, but every doubt has a potential gift, a better question, a finer distinction, a truer aim. The goal isn't to win a quarrel. It's to inch toward a view that could bear the light of scrutiny tomorrow, next year, and in the century to come. There's a common trap in modern discourse. Certainty is sold as courage and doubt as weakness. Socrates flips that upside down. Courage isn't a bulldozer that levels every argument. It's the stamina to stand with a fragile belief long enough to test it. Doubt isn't paralysis. It's a compass pointing toward what matters. Consider the exam in life. Socrates declared it the only life worth living, not because it guarantees happiness, but because it guarantees relevance. A life lived for appearances for social status, for quick certainty, is a life that shrinks under the weight of its own unexamined assumptions. A life lived with questions grows more honest, more durable, and more human. So how do we bring this ancient habit into our brisk, noisy era? Start with 2 questions you can use today. First, what would change if I learn I'm wrong about this? Second, what would be the simplest, most defensible version of my view that could survive a candid debate? The answer is 1T, always be satisfying, and that's the point. The discomfort is the sign you're in the right room. The room where thinking is not a show but a craft. And that is where philosophy moves from mere theory to a practical way of living. A third, quieter twist emerges when you bring Socrates into your friendships, your work, even your politics. The tool ISNT, a weapon for tearing down beliefs. It's a method for building better foundations for shared life. When you question with kindness, you invite others to question with you. The result, ISNT division. It's alignment around better questions, shared obligations, and a more resilient truth. Socrates would remind us that wisdom isn't a destination, but a method of travel. The more you travel, the less certain you become that you'll arrive at a fixed spot. Yet paradoxically, the journey itself becomes the destination. A life that learns to listen to the uncertainties that hover around every claim. A life that refuses to pretend certainty is always possible. A life that finds freedom not in having all the answers, but in asking the right questions. This is the transformation philosophy offers. A way to stay young in mind without losing depth of character. It's not about discarding values. It's about testing them with the right questions. About choosing truth over comfort. About choosing clarity over cleverness. It's about living with the humility that your own beliefs might be wrong. And living with the hope that your best beliefs can grow stronger when challenged. If you felt the pull of a wiser, more adaptable way to think, you felt Socrates speaking through time. He is not asking you to throw away what you cherish. He is asking you to prove to yourself why you cherish it, and to do so with the discipline to revise when the world proves you wrong. The final lesson is not a rule, but a practice. Make your philosophy a daily experiment in living. Keep a question journal. Put your most cherished belief on trial with a respectful opponent, and let the evidence breathe. Observe how your mind changes when you truly test its edges. Notice how the fear of being wrong loosens its grip, and how the curiosity of being right becomes gentler, more patient, more generous. So if you want a philosophy that can transform your life, borrow Socrates' quiet rebellion. Let questions lead you, not declare you. Let doubt be your midwife, helping a truer understanding arrive. Let your conversations be laboratories where lives meet ideas and come away with something more humane, more robust, and more reflective than before. The goal isn't to master every argument. The aim is to become the kind of thinker who can live with uncertainty, who can stand with another person in the gray zone, who can walk away with a clearer sense of what matters and what doesn't. That is philosophy in practice. A living art that can transform not just your mind, but the way you inhabit the days you've been given. So ask yourself now, what would it take for your beliefs to earn the test of scrutiny and still feel true in the morning? The answer isn't a single verdict. It's a practice you cultivate, a way of life you choose. A habit that makes you flexible without losing sight of your compass. The journey of Socrates is not a museum tour. It's a workshop, a path you can walk with care and courage. If you listen closely, you'll hear the ancient echo. Questioning is not a pastime, but a discipline for living well. And if you adopt that habit, philosophy will stop being a dusty shelf of ideas and become a living, guiding force in your own life. Carry this forward into every conversation. Questions that invite truth, not victory. When certainty arises, take a breath and ask what would prove it false. If nothing can, you found something sturdy. If something can, you found a path to better thinking. The result isn't being right forever, but being prepared to grow together. Inquiry keeps wisdom alive.